2009, Tyler the Creator released his first album, Bastard, which was the start of his rise to stardom in the music industry. However, back then nobody knew that Bastard was only the first installment in a 3-album trilogy. A trilogy in which Tyler discusses many things with a mysterious therapist named Dr. TC, such as disturbing events, mental health issues, the absence of his father, and eventually thoughts about murder and suicide. In this video, we're gonna take a deep dive into not one, but the 3 first albums of Tyler the Creator, also known as the Wolf Trilogy. So feel free to grab a snack, grab a drink, or even subscribe to the channel. This video is definitely my most ambitious yet, and it's probably gonna get demonetized. So subscribing is always very nice. So let's get into it. Normally I would just introduce the artist I'm talking about for this video, but it's Tyler the Creator. Like, come on. But I still feel like I could provide some context to this whole trilogy, because everybody's familiar with Tyler's last few projects, but these ones are a bit more obscure. So the trilogy tells the story of Tyler having sessions with a therapist from his school named Dr. TC, because he has apparently some mental health problems. A crucial thing to understand before jumping right into it is the concept of Tyler's alter egos, which you might have heard before. For example, Igor would be one of his alter egos. They're not different characters throughout the albums, they're just different versions of Tyler, but taken to an extreme. Like, for example, one is a cool and hip drug dealer and the other one wants to rape everyone. It's kind of similar to a multiple personality disorder in this trilogy, but still, you'll see it's not quite exactly that. And you're gonna see that as we go through the albums. Each album's centers around one of Tyler's alter egos. And the first one, Bastard, is centered around the alter ego known as Ace. I don't want to give too much away before I start, so let's just jump into it. So Bastard is Tyler the Creator's first album, and it was officially released in 2009 on the Odd Future website as a free download for anyone. The really first thing we notice with this album is its pretty hellish cover, showing a school class picture of kids with eyes grayed out and pretty spooky features, all covered with this transparent red filter. It's important to note that there are 2 official covers for Bastard, one with the red filter and one with the blue filter. Tyler mentioned the reason for that, explaining that red means evil and blue means happy. This all actually makes sense a bit later in this video, keep that in mind. But there's still the kids on the cover, right? This is referencing to the title of the album itself, Bastard, which is about Tyler's father being not there. The meaning of bastard is a child born to parents who are not married to each other. And it's also pretty much common knowledge that growing up, Tyler didn't have a father.
Focus. Your dad's here.
This could be the reason why these features were added onto the kids. Maybe Tyler feels alienated compared to all these kids that probably have a normal life with a normal father, and decides to take his anger out that way by graying out their faces. But it's pretty obvious that Tyler's father plays a gigantic role in this album, which can already be seen right in the first track.
Tyler, hi, I'm Dr. TC. It's gonna be 3 sessions, today, tomorrow, and the next day, so...
He mentions there are 3 sessions scheduled, today, tomorrow, and the next day. And now you're like, oh shit, that's the 3 albums, right? To which I say, no. This is the thing that will only make sense at the very end of this video. So for now, just remember it, okay?
If you don't talk, these sessions are gonna go slower, so...
This is what the devil plays before he goes to sleep.
That line is very interesting if you consider the actual music. The piano chords and melody playing is called a tritone. In music theory, a tritone is defined as a musical interval composed of 3 adjacent whole tones. And this makes sense with the first line of the song, because in the early 18th century, a tritone was actually considered as devilish music. Just a nice little detail here. Among other subjects, Tyler talks about how his mother raised him alone and how he got suspended from school. There's also a mention of a new character in the storyline, a girl named Sarah.
The summer is never, that's equivalent to me and Sarah.
Apparently this is a real person that broke Tyler's heart when he was in high school. She'll definitely come back later. Anyway, being a good therapist, Dr. TC asked Tyler what he would tell his father if he could talk to him.
I just want my father's email so I could tell him how much I fucking hate him in detail.
If you had the chance to tell him something, what would you tell him?
I tell him to eat a dick.
Well, now we know what he'd tell him. The title 7 is used like a slight aggression towards ex-Odd Future member Brandon Deshay, with who Tyler had beef at the time. Deshay was on the label 777, hence the name of the song. Over the next 2 songs, Tyler will continue talking with Dr. TC about his ambitions and his upfront and in-your-face mentality he has with music, which I mean is nothing less you'd expect from a therapy session with a young rapper, right? But then Tyler starts confessing things to Dr. TC that are very much darker. The 5th song on Bastard is Blow, and this song is quite heavy in terms of its subjects. Tyler first raps about, buying a girl a nice dinner, and then maybe buying her a gift, and then just raping her and killing her. You've been warned, some of these songs are really not pretty. He even mentions like cannibalism at some point.
So now it's time for a bloody foot, you little rabbit. You're very
Now just imagine being the therapist on the other end. Tyler spends the last 4 songs talking about normal stuff you'd expect, and then he pulls this shit out? What do you make of that? Well, this is the first song where we see a very dark part of Tyler's mind, or alter egos, that is obsessed with a sort of sexual/murder fantasy, which you'll see comes back in many other songs. Now, who is this alter ego? It's not very clear as of now. Song 6 on Bastard is the song Pigs Fly featuring Domo Genesis. This is another one of those songs where Tyler and another Odd Future member just rap braggadocious style, but this time it's more of a song about Tyler having really big ambitions and dreams with his music. Hence the name Pigs Fly, meaning something impossible. This title could also very well be inspired by Pink Floyd's iconic cover for Animals, but now you're like, what else? Right? Considering we're hearing a therapy session, it's kind of confusing how Tyler just talks about something so fucking disturbing and moves on to something so innocent compared to what he just said. And you're hoping that what he just confessed to Dr. TC in Below is just a big ass slip up or something. But it's not.
I don't wanna play you.
Track 10 on Bastard is VCR/Wheels, and it's definitely my favorite song from Bastard. Like, the beat is so fucking crisp. It's amazing. But the themes in the song are pretty dark. It's kind of expanding on that weird sexual fantasy from Blow by doing some double entendres and similes to VCRs and movie tapes. In the song, Tyler seems to tell Dr. TC about a toxic relationship he's been in with a girl. Whether it's the catchy chorus where Tyler says, "Press my buttons, baby," or threatening to kill that girl if he finds out she watches other movies, in the end of the video for VCR, Tyler basically jumps a girl in his basement and probably kills her. But then it gets even weirder in the second part of the song, Wheels, where Tyler sings, in these type of songs, very sexual, very horny, you'd expect, some throwback from the girl. It's always Tyler proposing to do something, but the girl never agrees or reacts to anything, because she's dead.
I like my girl skinny with brains.
This song is obviously about Sarah, the girl Tyler was in love with but then broke his heart. We learn in the first verse that Sarah broke Tyler's heart when Tyler asked her if she wanted to go to prom with him, which obviously Sarah's response was,
Ew.
And in the second verse, Tyler goes crazy and kidnaps her to throw her in the basement.
Shut the fuck up. You gon' fucking love me, bitch.
Ring any bells? VCR, the basement. That's Sarah. In the third and final verse, we learn Sarah is now dead, killed by Tyler in his basement, and Tyler is now performing cannibalism. Then he proceeds to have sex with the cadaver, and finally the police arrives, thank God. And in order to not get caught, he just kills himself. What a song! There's a lot to unpack here. First of all, we're at the point of the album where we start to notice patterns between the songs we've heard. For example, this part of Tyler, which is obsessed with dark sexual fantasies such as rape, cannibalism, and even now necrophilia, comes back quite a lot. Whether it's on song 5, Blow, or song 10, VCR, Wheels, or this song, Sarah. And by comparing these songs with the rest of the ones on the album, you can already hint that Tyler has some sort of mental health issues. And these mental health issues are really only just starting.
They don't paint pictures, they just trace me.
Track 13 is Jack and the Beanstalk, based on the famous tale by Benjamin Tabard, and there's parallels that can be drawn between the tale and this song, obviously, mostly talking about how gold his beats and music are. It's also pretty interesting how his personality changes from one song to another. Last song, he murdered someone, and now he's bragging about his music being good. Like, am I missing something? It's like he just switched and he's a completely different person. But now it's time for the closer of this album, Inglorious.
Well, Tyler,
Inglorious is the 15th and final track on Bastard, where Tyler addresses and faces the fact that his father left him.
is there anything else you want to say before we end this?
The track's title coincides with the first track of the album, Bastard, not only in themes but also by forming the phrase Inglourious Bastard, a nod to the 2008 Quentin Tarantino film Inglourious Bastard. Most people would assume that Tyler has never met his father by the way he talks about him, but that's not actually true. There's an interesting line in this song where he says, "He bought me a hoodie, a couple albums, like that's gonna make up for the years of the tears." Apparently in a now deleted post, he says, "I met the blank when I was 12 and seen him 8 times since. He bought me a Stussy tee and hoodie, fuck him though." But you'd expect that all these events Tyler describes are not there for no reason at all. Why is Tyler, or one of his alter egos, coming out to say all this fucked up shit? Well, it might be coming from one thing so obvious from the very start of this album: his father. It could be that Tyler craves so much for attention from his father that he comes out as an alter ego that is willing to do anything to get any kind of reaction from anybody, including raping or killing, you know? But still, in the end of the song, Tyler realizes that he doesn't need to be affected like this by not having a father and decides to get over it. The album ends with a loud bang that could be interpreted as just suicide given Tyler's behavior throughout the album. But given the lyrics said just before that, that bang could more likely be referring to him killing this bastard side of him and moving forward. Basically, killing Ace is alter ego that is so affected by not having a father, which would end the first album of the trilogy, Bastard. Or in other words, the first therapy session of Dr. TC. Today. So now it's time to move on to the second album in this trilogy, Wolf. Whoa. But isn't Goblin the next one, well, it actually wouldn't make sense to play Goblin right after this album. And here's why. Some people think that the bang from Inglorious is referencing to the first line said by Dr. TC in Goblin.
Over it. Bang, bang.
You wouldn't do that, Tyler. Kill yourself or anyone. You don't...
That wouldn't make sense. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't kill yourself. But they forgot one thing. What Dr. TC says right after.
It's been a while since our last session, so tell me what's been going on.
What? What do you mean it's been a while since our last session? We're having a therapy session right now. It's like Dr. TC waited an entire week to answer what Tyler just said on Inglorious, right? He threatens to kill himself. And then Dr. TC responds,
You wouldn't do that, Tyler. Kill yourself or anyone.
but he says it's been a while since our last session. This theory can't work because there's a clear gap of time between these two moments. And this is why Goblin isn't a direct sequel to Bastard. Both these albums are two separate therapy sessions with Dr. TC, and they are separated by the events in Wolf. For now, let's get into the second album of this trilogy, Wolf. The title for Wolf refers specifically to the main character of the album, Wolf Haley, who is basically Tyler. In an interview in 2011, he said, "This Wolf Haley guy is the guy that I really want to be. He's just wild." Which makes sense in this context because he just got over his father, right? He's the guy he wants to be, not dependent of anybody. So to avoid any confusion, in this album, Wolf is Tyler, and Ace from Bastard is no more. The album has 3 official covers, the first one being the main one and depicting the 2 main characters in the album, Wolf and Samuel, who can be seen holding an inhaler. You'll notice the cover is mainly blue, which, if you remember the blue Bastard cover that represented happiness, that kind of makes sense in the context of this album. Wolf is a much happier record than Bastard, instrumentally and lyrically. And that's apparent as soon as the album starts. Wolf starts with the character Samuel performing a song with this band. A true masterpiece, by the way.
Fuck.
But they suddenly get interrupted by Dr. TC, who tells Sam to welcome Wolf to Camp Flogna, a summer camp for troubled kids or whatever. In fact, after the last session with Wolf, Tyler, Dr. TC probably felt like Tyler made a lot of progress and thought maybe signing him up for a summer camp is not such a bad idea. You know, maybe he's gonna make some friends, who knows?
Sam, this is Wolf. He's new here.
What's up, dude?
Wolf, this is Sam. Sam's gonna show you around while I fill out these last-minute field trip slips, alright? You guys have fun.
So you guys are in the jazz? Look, Wolf, we don't fuck with you or anybody else here, alright? You stay the fuck out our way and we'll stay out of yours. Capiche?
This interaction between these 2 characters already indicate who's the antagonist of the story, Samuel, and that the relationship between the 2 will just become worse and worse throughout the album. The second song on Wolf is Jamba, which is a fucking banger. Hell yeah. The meaning of Jamba is not very clear. You'd obviously think like a Jamba Juice, right? But the translation that made the most sense was marijuana. Why? Well, if you consider the entire runtime of the album, at 4 minutes and 20 seconds, Tyler says,
Fuck this beat, nigga, let's smoke weed.
and it's on the song Jamba. That's crazy. Jamba is a song rapped from the perspective of Samuel, and we know that because he mentions an inhaler. On the song, we get introduced to his character, and especially his confidence. He's been at Camp Flognaw for a while as he flexes his badge, the official Flognaw badge with a cat centered in the middle. Basically, Sam is not someone you want to fuck with. Still, the song ends with Samuel's friends making fun of him because he doesn't smoke.
Come on, my nigga, you don't even smoke. You weak as fuck, my nigga. You do not smoke. Come this weak ass nigga Samuel. Knock, knock, motherfucker.
Track 3 on Wolf is Cowboy, and there's actually been some discourse over who's rapping on this song. Is it Wolf or Sam? But to me, it's clear that it's Wolf. Like, he even mentions his name in the song and kind of compliments himself. Samuel wouldn't do that. Anyway, on Cowboy, we get to see a side of Wolf that is more reserved than Sam.
Cause I am the cowboy on my own trip and
He pictures himself as a cowboy, just minding his own business, not caring about where he ends up or how the things he does affect other people. Basically, the description of how Tyler described Wolf. And you know, that's how you should feel after the events and problems on Bastard. He's just looking for the next thing, looking for a new beginning. And he might just have found it.
yo, who's that? That's Salem. That's my girlfriend. Stay the fuck away from her, alright?
That's of course Sam mentioning his girlfriend for the first time, Salem, which clearly Wolf has an interest in. This kind of justifies the meaning of the chorus in the song. Even though Samuel warns Wolf not to approach Salem, he's a cowboy on his own trip. He's gonna do what he has to do. And honestly, he might have a lot of chances to do that because Salem and Samuel's relationship is not at the best right now.
I was 16 when we first laid.
Awkward is the fourth song on Wolf and is a direct response to the ending of the last track, which talks about Sam and Salem's relationship prior to Wolf's arrival. Awkward is pretty self-explanatory in what it wants to convey as a message. The relationship between Samuel and Salem is awkward, and you can already tell by the chorus.
Struggle my ears, then we awkwardly stare until our lips locked.
But really it seems that Samuel is kind of obsessed with Salem in a way. He even mentions that the girl's name, Salem, is his password for everything. And even though it's kind of awkward in this relationship, he's still emphasizing the fact that Salem is his girlfriend, whether you like it or not. It's kind of strange how you notice that there's kind of similar vibes with how Samuel is acting and Ace from Bastard, right? Feels like this line would have been something Tyler would have said on Goblin, talking about Sarah, for example. Anyway, let's move on. Domo 23 is song 5 on Wolf, and despite the mysterious name of the song, it's literally the name of the beat Tyler made for this song. You thought I was gonna pull out some crazy whoa, but fun fact, the hook of the song was performed by none other than Tyler's 8-year-old cousin, which is hilarious to me considering the the bars in the hook. Anyway, this song ends with Tyler talking about lettuce or something, but on the Wolf CD, it keeps going, and we get this sort of skit.
Your call has been
Fuck you,
to an automated
fucking
voice
bitch.
messaging system.
Fuck.
Ernest Davis, the best golfer in the world.
Is not available.
I don't think I need to say that this song is a masterpiece because, I mean, everybody knows that at this point. It's so fucking good. A good way to kind of summarize this song would be to separate it into 3 parts, or the 3 verses. Each verse representing someone that doesn't answer when they're called. The first verse talks about the father of Tyler and what he would tell him if Tyler had a chance to talk to him. The song also explains the transition between Bastard and Wolf,
Fuck is in no coma. I'm changing my shit to Haley.
explaining how Tyler changes his name from Tyler Okonma to Wolf Haley. He doesn't want his father's name anymore. The second verse talks about Tyler's grandma, who unfortunately died in 2012. Those two first verses come from the perspective of Tyler, aka Wolf. The final verse, though, is from the perspective of Samuel, and is actually referring to his girlfriend Salem. Since their relationship is kind of rocky, she won't answer to Sam.
The last verse was about this girl. Me and Slater just hit a curb.
Track 7 on Wolf is called Slater, and honestly, before doing my research, I was certain that Slater was a character in the album, but really it's just the name of Tyler's bike. If you follow Tyler on social media, you know very well he's really into biking. I mean, it's just a song about his bike and biking. Happy song. Yay! Song 8 on Wolf is 48. The song starts with a snippet from a conversation with rapper Nas, talking about the negative impact crack had on people in the 90s, but how lucrative that business was. And that's pretty on point because the song is about Sam selling drugs, and the title 48 refers to the contiguous United States, the 48 adjoining states. So wherever you are in there, Sam's got you. As the song goes on, Sam begins to feel in over his head about drug dealing, apologizing over and over for what he's doing, but without really meaning it. He realizes that what he does is wrong, but still, the money, like, it's addicting.
Nobody wins. You know what I mean?
Went to Six Flags, Six Fags came up and said, "Hey yo."
Colossus is an insane song, and probably among my favorites from Tyler. This song takes no part in the narrative from Wolf, but still, it's an insane story. In this song, Tyler is waiting in line for a roller coaster at Six Flags, the Colossus, and some weird fucking fan comes and asks for a picture. But when I say weird, remember the weird behaviors Tyler had on Bastard? This is on par with that.
I think about your face and I don't even fucking try to. Wish I had a basement meant for me to hide you.
What the fuck, are you trying to recreate VCR? But the craziest thing is, and I found that a couple weeks ago, I think they actually found the Colossus guy. Let me see if I can find it.
Alright, for y'all who don't believe that Tyler the Creator's Colossus was written about me, here's all the proof you need right now. That's me, Will Marks, on the back of my shirt. That was 6 years ago. I looked up the date Colossus was released 6 years ago, 2019, 2013. I ended up going up and asking for a picture. As you can see in the photo, I asked him if I could get one. He said no. I was like, bro, but like, I'm a huge fan. Like, I listen to Goblin, Yonkers, like, that's all my shit. He's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if I give you a picture, I have to give everyone a picture, and you're like fucking 12 years old anyway.
I mean, it's debatable, like, whether it could have been him. Still, why would you want to brag about that? There are so many bars on that song that are just like,
Just take this fucking picture, man. Shit.
The next song on Wolf is Party Isn't Over / Campfire / Bimmer. And it's basically 3 songs smashed together. So to make this easier to understand, let's analyze each part individually. Party Isn't Over is definitely a song about Salem and Wolf going one step further in their relationship. Wolf says he doesn't have rhythm, implying he didn't have any serious relationship experience at this point. And he's just asking Salem to take a chance with him, get this shit started. And then we cut to Campfire, which is what's happening right now for Samuel. You know, just camping with his friends, just having a good time. You can tell it's Sam with some bars like, my flock not bad, just looking good on this brand new jacket. Sam not only mentioned his Flognaw badge in Jamba, but he's also mentioned buying a few nice things with the money he's making dealing drugs. But while that's happening, we get some action on Bimmer. This song is basically just Wolf having sex with Salem, alright? That's what this is. And comparing her to a good old BMW. It never really sounded like it when I just played it, but when you read deeper into the lyrics, there's like so many sex metaphors with cars. It's like if the movie Cars was just straight up porn. Anyway, Wolf has officially lost his V-card with Salem. But on the outro, Sam learns that Wolf and Salem have been hanging out.
Hey, you know where they went?
I see him going down by the lake.
What the fuck? I never would have thought that feelings could get thrown.
I Fucking Hate You is a direct response to Samuel learning Salem has been unfaithful to their relationship. The song really showcases his aggressiveness and the toxicity of his relationship with Salem. He even admits in the song that Salem is perfect on its own, but when they're together, they're troubled and it doesn't work. But still, in all this aggressiveness, you can see he still cares about Salem. Although every time he shows some small sign of affection, he immediately follows it up with the most toxic shit. For example, he says he would want to just straight up strangle the girl, but just so he could spend the rest of his life looking for air and breathing it into her mouth so she could breathe. Aww. But a little life advice from your buddy Tom Tom. If you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever, maybe mention you want to kill them a bit later, preferably never. And still on this song, I cannot get over the fact that Samuel is just like Tyler was on Bastard, right? With Sarah. It's like Samuel is a dark reflection of the behavior Tyler had on Bastard, right? Anyway, the song ends with a little conversation snippet of Wolf and Salem at their date down at the lake.
Why is Samuel such a fucking dick?
He's only here because he ran away, because some shit happened back home.
Yo, what happened?
The 12th song on Wolf is Pigs and answers directly the question, what happened with Sam and why he ran away from home. This is definitely my least favorite track from Wolf. The instrumental is just like, but it's still interesting to know a bit more about Sam's backstory. We learned that Sam was actually bullied in school. His prom date dismissed his offer, and that eventually drives him to kill his bullies, which is why Sam ended up at Camp Flognaw. Sounds kind of similar if you compare the events in Bastard, right? Especially the part about the prom date dismissing the offer. There's also parallels that can be drawn from Pigs to the song Pigs Fly from Bastard. Pigs Fly has some bars where Tyler mentions selling drugs, which indicates that Pigs Fly is probably rapped by Samuel, which is crazy to me because Bastard is 4 years prior to Wolf. Anyway, next song is Parking Lot.
Fucking like this shit, fuck! Ah!
This is the 13th song on Wolf, and there's not that much to it. Even Tyler said himself that the song was blah. His words, not mine. It's just about Tyler hanging out with his friends, the Loiter Squad. But the real tea of this track is the outro.
Sam's after you. Running. Sam is after who? You. For what? What the We found out you and Salem been hanging out. I don't know. He just said he gonna kill you.
Not if I get to him first.
Rusty is song 14 on Wolf. I've seen this song get praised so many times as like the best song that Tyler has ever made, which honestly I never really got. In the song, Tyler talks a bit about his media presence and addressing how people are trying to cancel him for everything. But that's not really important when we look at the whole song. Really, it's the last verse of the song where Earl Sweatshirt spits a verse resembling some sort of suicide note. He says he's close to the edge as possible, literally and figuratively, with Samuel screaming at him to jump off a cliff. Finally, Earl says goodbye and good luck, while Sam cuts him off and literally shoots him in cold blood.
Shut the fuck up! Where's Wolf? Salem was mine, bitch! Was that good enough, you fucking pussy? Sawed off, I eat those. These clothes ain't free.
Rusty abruptly cuts to Trash Wang, the 15th song on Wolf. And that song is fucking trash, no pun intended. I mean, he even said in the tweet that Trash Wang means more to his friends than anyone else, so that makes sense. Although, the song ends with a gunshot.
Click, click.
This is intended to be the moment Wolf and Salem hear the gunshot that killed Earl in the song Rusty.
Click.
What the fuck was that? You want to hear the new song we just did? It's not finished, but yeah.
Tree Home 95 is track 16 on Wolf, and one of the more jazz-influenced songs on the album. In the context of the story, it's actually an unfinished song that Salem is showing out to Wolf. As Salem is part of Sam's band at Flogna, she initially wrote this song for him, but she's showing it to Wolf instead because she's more fond of him. The song ends with Salem asking Wolf to just escape with him, which in a way validates the strength of their relationship and how they're meant for each other. Okay, it's so fucking hot. Just for the sake of continuity in the video, I'm taking my shirt off just so it doesn't seem like weird. Tamale is the second to last song on Wolf, and it's a banger. Just everything about it. The Japanese-inspired drums, the crazy tamale sample, the bars. This song is fucking perfect. The song ends with Wolf being caught jerking off in his room by one of the camp counselors, I guess. Which, given the context of the last song, doesn't really make sense, you know? You're telling me that Wolf learned that Sam wanted to kill him, and then he went with Salem to listen to a song she made, and finally went back to his room to just jerk off? Like, what? I have a different theory. Maybe after hearing that gunshot in Trash Wang, Wolf went hiding in his room, and Tree Home 95 is just him thinking of that let's escape fantasy with Salem. This is not what happened. He's just dreaming about it. And that could be what he's jerking off to in Tamale. I don't know. It's just a thought. It makes sense in my head. But that doesn't matter because Wolf is sent to Dr. TC's office once again.
So what's going on, Wolf? What's on your mind? Talk to me. I'm here.
Lone is the final track on Wolf. This is one of the rare songs that Tyler did not produce himself. The instrumental is a sample from a song named Jornada by composer Wilson Das Neves. The song title makes full circle with the first song of the album, making up the phrase Lone Wolf. This reflects his behavior throughout the album, as mentioned in the song Cowboy. He's minding his own business, he's making his own path as a lone wolf. But it's also reflecting the solitude of that song, where Tyler talks about experiencing the death of his grandma. But all things aside, have you noticed that Wolf is kind of like the contrary of Bastard? It's crazy when you compare the two personalities of Tyler on both of these albums. On Bastard, Tyler is so crazy, dysfunctional, torn apart by not having a father, and also kind of a monster. Remember the necrophilia, the cannibalism? This shit is crazy when you compare it to Wolf. Name one time on Wolf that Tyler did something wrong. You can't, there's nothing. I guess he got caught jerking off, but I mean, happens to the best of us. Like he said in that interview in 2011, Wolf is the perfect version of Tyler. Wolf Haley is the alter ego that is the best possible version of Tyler, versus Ace on Bastard, which is the worst possible version of Tyler. The only negative things we see on Wolf is Sam, and that's maybe why they have such rivalry between the two. At the end of the song Lone, Dr. TC, being aware of the conflict between Wolf and Sam, asks Wolf if he has seen Sam.
Fuck that nigga Sam.
Have you seen him?
Nah, but if I seen that nigga, I would've killed him.
This ends the record, which is a bizarre ending. It's just bang, it's over. But it makes plenty of sense if you play Goblin right after this. Goblin is the third and last album in this trilogy. The first song, Goblin, is a continuation of the ending of Lone.
Fuck that nigga Sam.
Have you seen him?
Nah, but if I seen that nigga, I would've killed him.
You wouldn't do that, Tyler. Kill yourself or anyone.
Even though it makes sense, it's still kind of odd that Dr. TC says you wouldn't do that, kill yourself or anyone, rather than you wouldn't kill Sam. There's a reason for that. But for now, keep that in mind. The album is basically Tyler's second session with Dr. TC. Remember what he said about that in Bastard. This session is the tomorrow session. In other words, Tyler is back to square one. Back in the office of Dr. TC. Dr. TC persuaded he's what Tyler needs to get better. But this is where Tyler's mental health will decay more and more throughout the album. Yonkers is the second track on Goblin, and often considered Tyler's breakout song. I should probably also mention that Yonkers is a song Tyler hates. He made the beat in 5 minutes apparently, and by how he performs it at concerts, he seems pretty sick of it.
I'm a fucking homosexual. What? No, I'm not. Threesomes at the motherfucking ball.
Yonkers is a song where we really see Tyler's mental health degrading, because the song is structured like Tyler is talking over himself, like he would have Tyler and Wolf Haley talking at the same time. Basically, the whole premise of the song is to highlight the conflicts between the personality of Tyler on Bastard and Tyler on Wolf. It's almost like Tyler has a hard time knowing who he really is and what he really wants, and with reason. On Bastard, Tyler spent the entire album talking about himself like a monster, really, killing and raping girls, saying some super edgy stuff, while on Wolf, he's the best person he could be. He doesn't do anything bad, he even steals a girl from someone, and he falls in love. And on Yonkers, those two personalities collide, which is something you'll see throughout Goblin. Tyler ends the song by saying his conscience has jumped off his shoulder and is now dead. And Tyler realizes he has no guidance anymore.
Actions speak louder than words. Let me try this shit.
What the fuck I look like saying I'm sorry to a bunch of fucking...
This song is just about being as chaotic as possible with your action. There's even a disclaimer at the beginning, warning people to not do the shit he says in this song.
Hey, don't do anything that I say in this song, okay? It's fucking fiction.
However, believe it or not, but there was actually a case where the Radicals chant was used for terrorist threats. Actually, a student at the University of South Alabama wrote the hook on a flipboard in the library. Alabama, am I right? It should be important to note that this is the first time Tyler gets this aggressive since Bastard, right? We've had a whole album just Tyler being happy. But that's no surprise, right? Because he just said in Yonkers he's lost all guidance. Although the song then switches beats. with the phrase "you gotta let him go" being repeated over and over again, with Dr. TC saying to Tyler he's got to let go of all this rebellious shit and just mature.
Nigga, fuck you.
I'm just trying to help you, man.
Golden rubbers in these denim pockets. On my waist there's a...
She is one of my favorite songs on Goblin, but it's also kind of creepy when you look into it. The song starts with Frank Ocean banging a girl, but he's interrupted by someone stalking them. That person is obviously Tyler. Now you're probably thinking Tyler's verse will probably be dark and creepy as shit, but it's actually not that bad. There are some few threats here and there that, you know, Tyler's gonna, if the girl refuses to hang out with him. But if she says yes, Tyler says he'll be happy, so it's okay. We can tell that the girl he's talking about on this song is Salem, because he asks her to meet him down by the lake, which was already common for him in Wolf. But the second verse is really just where all hope fails, when he says he wants to fuck her dead body. Come on, man. We were so good at this point. The fact that he says this is very significant because that means he's talking about Sarah from Bastard, which means parallels start to be drawn between Salem and Sarah. As the personalities of Ace and Wolf merge on this record, so are the personalities of Salem and Sarah. It's like he's not telling the difference between the two anymore. And that's why I think She is such an interesting song. We learned that Tyler not only confuses his behaviors, but also his memories.
Left brain.
Transylvania is song 5 on Goblin. Also, is it just me or the song is like way quieter than any other song on Goblin? Every time I play it, I have to raise the volume. Is it just me? Anyway, the song follows the dark themes that were being raised on She, now comparing himself to Dracula, hence the name Transylvania. But he's a version of Dracula that kills women and has sex with them. This song is really reminiscent of a few songs from Bastard, where you have this dark side of Tyler with weird sexual tendencies, which we actually get a lot of answers to why he's like that very soon.
So, you tell me that everything just isn't going well. Well, first off,
the sixth song, Nightmare, starts with Dr. TC asking Tyler what is not going well for him right now. But then it's like Dr. TC answers for Tyler.
Well, first off,
it feels like Dr. TC is talking over his patient while he answers, or just answers for him, which is weird, but still, keep that in mind. Nightmare is definitely one of the best sounding beats on Goblin, and a song about Tyler feeling nostalgic about the early days before he got famous and almost contemplating suicide because of that. There's also pretty interesting things we learn in the song. The main one being that Tyler hears a voice in his head.
One ear I got kids screaming, OF is the best. The other ear I got Tron Cat asking where the bullets and the bombs at.
Tyler gets pretty shook at the end of the song and confesses to Dr. TC that this voice tells him to do fucked up shit.
It tells me to do this shit that I don't want to fucking do.
what's his name?
Tron Cat.
Tron Cat is track 7 on Goblin. It features a pretty intense instrumental and Tyler's most edgy bars yet. That pregnant bitch line got him banned in UK, just saying. This is a track where we learn a major thing. That all of Tyler's dark thoughts of murder and sexual fantasies come from one individual, which we can finally put a name on. Tron Cat. If we look at the trilogy as a whole, Tron Cat is everywhere. On Bastard, the songs Blow, VCR, Sarah, those are all songs where Tron Cat is speaking. He's also been there more recently with songs like Radicals, She, and Transylvania. On Bastard, Tron Cat feeds on the anger that Tyler feels due to the absence of his father. and comes out in these over-the-top edgy situations. That's why Tron Cat is nowhere to be seen in Wolf, right? Because Wolf Haley is the best version of Tyler, free from all these dark thoughts like he had on Bastard. However, he's not completely absent. The Camp Flognaw badge as a cat pictured in the center, which is a clear reference to Tron Cat. It's like Tron Cat is still overlooking everything that's going on Wolf without actually intervening. But now on Goblin, where Tyler's two personalities intersect, Tron Cat resurfaces in full songs. At the end of Tron Cat, Tyler's therapist, Dr. TC, is so disturbed by what Tyler just said that he just decides to change the subject.
What the fuck? How's that girl you were telling me about?
Oh, I don't need the metronome, bro.
Her is song 8 on Goblin, and the title makes it clear that it's kind of a sister song to She, right? Pronouns, she, her. But in contrast to She, Her is a song where Tyler shows legitimate affection for a girl. The song starts with a verse talking about Salem. Tyler talks about the beginning of their relationship and how it's blooming. He even mentions her name is password, which, if you remember, is a line from Wolf. However, that song was clearly from the perspective of Sam, while Her is clearly Tyler's point of view, because he's with Dr. TC, right? So you're like, is this the strangest coincidence? They both love this girl so much that both of them have the same password. Or is there something else going on? Fish is song 10 on Goblin, and although it's just titled Fish on streaming services, it's a two-part song. The first part of the track runs around the theme of fishing for girls in a bar. But you know, it's Tyler, so he means picking up girls by planting drugs in their drink. And apparently, given the lyrics of the song, this is the very thing that brought him to see a therapist, Dr. TC. The title Fish could also be a reference to Albert Fish, one of the first serial killers in America. The second part of the song, Boppin' Bitch, is more lighthearted and a bit funny, even though it's got harsher lyrics. It's literally just about Tyler going to a club to get a girl to suck his dick. That's it. Oh, and Tyler gets an STD at the end. So we can kind of see a contrast between the two songs. In Fish, it's more like Tron Cat or Ace is talking, with the dark thoughts and the raping stuff. But in Boppin' Bitch, it's Wolf Haley, because he doesn't give a fuck, he just wants to get his dick sucked. So again, Tyler's two personalities enter in conflict again.
I could grab the fireworks and soda, all the cookies.
Following Fish, we got Analog, which is surprisingly just a short and cute song. If we follow the previous narrative from the other albums, this song is actually a sort of flashback. In fact, it's about Wolf and Salem's date down at the lake. There's even a reference from Wolf when Tyler says, "Summer never has to end with me," which is a lyric from Slater from Wolf. It's also interesting that Analog is a song about a lake, right? And it comes right after Fish. Where do you get fishes? In a lake. So that's genius. But you know what's not genius? The next song. BSD is the 12th song on Goblin, and this song is just a fucking shitpost. I hate the fact that this song comes right after Analog in the album. It just breaks the flow of the album. One interesting thing from this song is that it actually ends with Tyler killing Taco and Jasper, even though he doesn't really want to.
I'm sorry.
It makes you think that maybe Tron Cat is doing it, but really it's about to get much clearer in the next song.
Tyler,
Window is the 13th song on Goblin, and it's a session organized with Dr. TC and all of Tyler's friends. Although Dr. TC says in the beginning that
For some reason, couldn't get a hold of Taco and Jasper.
which makes sense because they were just murdered in BSD. The whole song is an intervention in which all the members provide a sort of window into their lives. If you look at everybody's verses, they all end with the phrase, "Where we at? We on top of the world," which is definitely the members of Odd Future just acknowledging the success of the collective. Like, we're on top of the world, we made it. However, Tyler has different views about that on his verse. While everybody's excited about how their musical careers have taken off, Tyler is sort of torn apart because he can't find himself and all of that. And he's so unwell mentally that he decides to just kill all of his friends. The song ends with only Tyler and Dr. TC left, saying, "079 is a purely instrumental cut that serves as an interlude between Window and Golden, the last track on Goblin, the last track of the entire trilogy. The title 079 refers to an element of the periodic table, which is gold. Therefore, this fits pretty well with the title of the next song, Golden."
Tyler, you obviously have some fucking problems. Anything else you gotta say?
Mom is getting
Golden is the final track in the entire trilogy, and it's where we get all the answers to our questions. Like the other two albums, the title completes itself with the first track of the album, making the phrase Golden Goblin. Tyler then raps a few verses about the success of Odd Future, with the fact that he's still missing his best friend Earl, and then Tyler gets into a pretty big argument with Dr. TC. So much that Dr. TC ends up calling security on him.
Get he's right there. Security's right there.
No, get away from me.
Get him.
Then we get a pretty heavy moment in which Tyler is held down on the floor and he keeps saying nobody gave a fuck. To which Dr. TC responds,
Someone gave a fuck, Tyler, and the person I gave a fuck was me. It's me. I'm your best friend, Tyler. I know everything. You've been helping yourself this whole time. Dr. TC. I'm Tron Cat. I'm Ace. I'm Wolf Haley. I'm...
Me.
what? When I heard that, I was like, this is the shittiest ending I've ever heard in an album. Like, everything and everyone was all in your head this whole time. This is basically the equivalent of saying, this was all a dream, nothing happened. And at first, it may seem like that, but thankfully, it's not. It's actually not what's happening here. If we take it back to what Dr. TC said about everything happening inside Tyler's head, there are tons of little Easter eggs that you can find through the albums that basically foreshadows this moment, and that tell us that every character is just Tyler. So if you haven't noticed by now, Dr. TC is named like that because Dr. TC has the same initials as Tyler, the creator. And also, if you think about it, same as Tron Cat, right? TC. But it's also happening throughout the songs. For example, if we think about that transition between Wolf and Goblin, where Tyler says, I would've killed him? Nah, you wouldn't kill yourself. There's a reason why Dr. TC says, kill yourself or anyone in that specific instance. Samuel is Tyler. In Wolf, Samuel is just a reflection of Tyler on Bastard. He's aggressive, he had his prom date dismissed his offer exactly the same as Tyler, and they have the same exact password. They're the same person, but some of these Easter eggs are not really as clear as the previous one. Some are kind of just bugs in the Matrix. In another song, Nightmare, the song starts out with Dr. TC asking a question to Tyler, and he starts answering it at the same time. That's because Dr. TC is Tyler. There's also a moment in Cowboy where we just hear Dr. TC pop out of nowhere. Also in the song Tron Cat, there's at the end of the song a part where Dr. TC just admits he's not a therapist. And there are tons of other little Easter eggs which I encourage you to share in the comments below. But if we were to draw a takeaway from all this, what does this mean? I feel like at first glance it's so easy to brush off this trilogy as, oh, he's schizophrenic. It's a good depiction of someone's mental health when they have multiple personality disorder or some shit. But I feel like it's so much more than that. If I were to bring down this whole trilogy to a core message, it would be that you'll never be as good as the perfect person you want to be, but you'll still never be as bad as the monster you imagine yourself to be. It's all about finding your true self and that balance. So in a way, Tyler's realization that he's been talking to himself this whole time is not him realizing he's crazy or something. It's just him finally finding himself. Dr. TC has been him this whole time. And those therapy sessions were just a way for him to grow up and become the person he wants to be. And if you remember at the very beginning of this video, I said that there were 3 sessions planned for Tyler. Today, tomorrow, and the next day. The next day is not a session at all. It's just Tyler's future. What's next for him after all of that? And I like to think about all of these later projects from Tyler being part of the next day. And it makes sense when you see how much he's grown with his music over the years. Anyway, that's my take on all of this, and I'm really interested to see yours also. This is why I make these videos. It's to have goddamn conversations in the comments about this great music. I've had a lot of fun making this video, and I hope you've had as much fun watching it. Let me know if I should do this again in the same fashion, and I guess I'll see you next time. Bye!